Are you thinking about changing careers? Are you thinking about leaving your hometown, moving provinces, starting life all over again? I live in the city of Fort McMurray, and a lot of people that live here are here because of those reasons. Fort McMurray is a wealth of opportunity and an amazing place to live. Now, I feel like if you live in Canada, if you especially live in Western Canada, everybody knows something about Fort McMurray. Whether you have a cousin, an uncle that lived here, that worked here, your best friend commutes, there's a lot of people that are coming and going from this little city all the time. But I'd like to share with you today 5 things that you may not realize about Fort McMurray. So before you pigeonhole us with other people's ideas, let's take a look at the top 5 things that I think you should know about Fort McMurray. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the thing that brings people here. It is the economy. Now, as we all know, Fort McMurray is located in northern Alberta, and we are in a robust oil and gas industry. And that really is our number one economic driving force here. Even through the ups and downs of the oil and gas industry over the years, Fort McMurray has always been a place that has provided workers with thousands of jobs and job opportunities. So obviously, oil and gas is the big one in Fort McMurray. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that Fort McMurray is a very great place to start and grow a business. We have a ton of support and an amazing business environment in Fort McMurray that offers resources from the government level all the way to different organizations in town that help people grow and start a business. We're very entrepreneur friendly in Fort McMurray. A lot of businesses are always popping up and they are just so embraced in our town. So if you have an idea for a small business, if you've always thought about starting a small business, this is a very easy place to take that idea and grow it into reality. Point number 2, after talking about the economy, I'd like to talk about the cost of living. There has been a long-standing, I would say stigma, but it has been truthful, that the cost of living in Fort McMurray has been a little high. So our housing costs were high, and that I think really scared a lot of people off from calling this home permanently. But in the last few years, that has really shifted. Fort McMurray's house prices are pretty much on par with every other city in Alberta. I did a whole other video that talks about the cost of living in Fort McMurray, and I break down things a bit more. But if you were looking at buying an average single family detached home, a condo in Fort McMurray versus in Edmonton, you're probably going to be paying the same amount. And I'll let you know, we have an amazing standard of living in Fort McMurray. We have top quality healthcare facilities, we have amazing schools, we have incredible recreational facilities. I would consider some of our facilities in Fort McMurray top notch. If you haven't heard of McDonald Island, of Shell Place, you should Google those. I also have them in another video, but they are phenomenal facilities here in town. Now, in terms of everyday expenses, we are also on par with other major cities. The one thing I do note, to be completely truthful, is that often our gas prices are a little bit higher in Fort McMurray. But as far as groceries, fruits, vegetables, meats, your everyday essentials, when I did a cost-to-cost comparison just last month on Edmonton versus Fort McMurray, literally identical. So I think that with our strong economy, with our higher employment rate, we also have a really great standard of living in Fort McMurray. Now, all that positivity being said, I will talk about something that could be potentially negative, but I'm going to put a little positive spin on it. We are a little remote. So Fort McMurray is about 4 hours from the nearest major city, and we're considered northern Alberta. So we're a little bit up there in the province, and some people might not like that we are a little remote and it takes time to get places. So in the city of Fort McMurray itself, we're small enough that it is not a long commute to go from one end of the city to the other. But if you're looking to go to an NHL game, if you're looking to go to Costco, IKEA, you will have to take a road trip to Edmonton, which would be about 4.5 hours. So I myself have done big shopping trips in a day, round trip, like hit the highway in the morning, come back in the evening. It is a long day, but it is totally manageable. And now for my positive spin on things. I think being in this remote location allows all of the natural beauty to surround you. Fort McMurray is located right in the midst and nestled right in the Canadian boreal forest. And even though we did have a pretty devastating wildfire just about 7 years ago now, my God, I can't believe it was 7 years ago. We have a lot of natural beauty here still. We have a river, a stunning river. We have a lake very close. We have trails. Fort McMurray has the Birchwood Trail system intertwined into all of their neighborhoods. That is a whole other phenomenal thing here in town that I think is unique. So if you are any kind of outdoor lover, nature enthusiast, if you are into hiking, camping, fishing, skiing, boating, it is literally all in your backyard. I am 5 minutes from a ski hill. I am 20 minutes from a lake. I am 15 minutes from a river. If you enjoy nature and the outdoors, this is an amazing place. Now, I saved the best for last because it is my favorite. Now, while many people think that oil and gas is the asset of Fort McMurray, my very personal thoughts are that the people that live here and the community, that is our biggest asset. The community of Fort McMurray is so welcoming and so warm. This city is an amazing place to live. Everybody here is deeply committed to their communities, to their neighbors. Like I said before, people kind of come here from all other places in the country and oftentimes the world. So people are very open to making friendships and communicating. I find that people here are always looking at ways on how to give back, whether they want to volunteer their time, whether they're supporting local businesses, or simply just being an amazing neighbor, which I have amazing neighbors. The people of Fort McMurray really embody the spirit of community. So the people that live in Fort McMurray have definitely gone through some adverse times. Like I said, in 2016, we had a massive wildfire. Now I lost my own house in the wildfire, and I really have to say that Fort McMurray and all of the other communities around us really came together, and I think just made the people here even closer and even more supportive. In conclusion, even though Fort McMurray is known for its oil and gas industry and people often come here just strictly to work and make money and come and go, leave, Fort McMurray is an amazing place. It's not just a place you want to pass through. It's not just a place that you want to hear about from your cousin's uncle who lived in camp. I think that the people that live here are proud to live here. They're happy to call Fort McMurray home. And if you came and experienced what it was really like to live here, you would be blown away and you would never leave. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 things to know about Fort McMurray before you come. And if you do come, I hope you enjoy every little bit that the city has to offer.